How did Roman plebeians win rights from patricians? Imagine living in a society where the wealthy and powerful control everything, and the common people have almost no say. That was Rome a long time ago. Society was split into two main groups: the patricians, who owned most of the land and held political power, and the plebeians, who were the everyday folks, farmers, artisans, and soldiers. The plebeians made up most of the population and fought in the army, but they had little influence in government. For many years, the patricians kept all the important jobs and decisions for themselves. The plebeians wanted a voice, but they had to fight for it. Around 490 for BC, they decided to take a stand called the First Secession. They left the city and refused to fight in the army or support Rome until their demands were heard. This was a bold move, and it showed how serious they were about gaining rights. The patricians needed the plebeians for their armies and economy, so they started to negotiate. They agreed to let plebeians from their own assembly called the Plebeian Council. This was a big step because it gave plebeians a place to speak and make decisions. They also elected officials called tribunes of the plebs. These tribunes had the power to block or veto laws that hurt plebeians, protecting them from patrician abuse. Over time, the plebeians pushed for more rights. They gained the ability to elect officials called plebeian aediles, who looked after their interests. The plebeian council could pass laws called plebiscites, which initially only affected plebeians. But in 287 BC, the Lex Hortensia made these laws binding on all Romans, including patricians. Another major victory was the passage of the Licinian Sextian laws around 367 BC. These laws required that at least one of the two consuls, the highest Roman officials, be a plebeian. This opened the door for plebeians to hold higher offices and eventually become senators. Through years of protests, political organization, and legal reforms, the plebeians slowly gained more power. They went from being excluded commoners to having their own councils, officials, and access to the highest government positions. This process changed Roman society by balancing the power between the classes and creating a more inclusive system, even though society remained hierarchical. So, the plebeians won their rights by standing up for themselves, forming their own political groups, and pushing for laws that made their voices heard. Their persistence helped reshape Rome into a society where common people could have a say in how things were run.